Alright, out here in the shop today, I got a little welder here. This is a welder that belongs to a farmer, a friend of mine, that he said it's been sitting a long time and hadn't been reused, and he wanted me to get it going. And he had put a rebuilt mag on it, and he didn't think he had the timing right, so he had me check the timing. This is a Wisconsin VF4. Funny thing is, we actually did have it started once, and it ran just a little bit, and then it died. And here's my old friend Roxy. How you doing, Roxy? You want to talk to the camera? You're not going to, are you? Huh? You're not going to talk? Nope. She don't like the camera that much. Anyway, the problem with it, and I don't know what happened. I suspect it might have got some dirt in it, but it got to where it locks up every turn about the same point. It ain't gonna do it now, is it? Nope, right there. Every turn it locks up at the same spot. And you can get it to go past this. If you work it a little bit, it'll go past it. So, I'm not real sure what happened, but this is a SA200 Lincoln. This is the old school Lincoln. Pretty neat machine. It's only got four speeds on the main, and then you got the regular SA200s. You got your leads come out the front. This machine doesn't have an automatic throttle, so it's got you pull this out to get your RPM up. It's got two notches. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe high speed for, there may be a tag on here that explains it. This dog's gonna make me try to go up. She's trying to make me go outside. So anyway, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why it did what it did. I think what I'm thinking could have happened is it could have had mud dauber nest in the carburetor. I don't know how it would have went through it, but something locked it up. And it does it on the same stroke, same point every time. And this is, I believe this is our timing marks, and there's an X on this flywheel. I feel like I'm gonna get my finger stuck in it. So I'm gonna have to look up some timing specs on it. But since it's a V4, you got two cylinders coming this way and two that way. It's kind of hard for me to tell which one's hitting top center when it stops. But I probably shouldn't have tried to start it when I did. I should have probably checked it out a little more. I didn't realize what condition it was in. It's got an oil bath breather. That was all in place. It don't have any oil in it. So that might need to be fixed. But anyway, I got to figure out why it's locking up. And I don't want to spend too much time figuring that out. But I have determined it's probably not the valve train because it does it on every turn. And it's probably, I don't know why it would do it every turn unless there's something keeping that one cylinder from, anyway, I don't know. I got to figure it out. So I'm going to tear into it. Spark plugs are loose right now. I just had them. I just kind of set them back in there. Can't remember if you can feel the, I don't think you can feel the piston. So that one's, that's where it locks up right there. I guess you can't see my camera from where you're at there, so. Kind of a blurry picture there. This is not the best borescope made. So that's the piston. The piston just came up and went back down. So it's probably not that cylinder. Let's look at number 2 here. That's not really. So we're down in the cylinder there. Cylinders are kind of shiny, like they're clean. So those two are okay, I suppose. Pretty sure it's not cylinder number 1. So the way they number them is 1, 2 is on the other side, 3 is here, and 4 is on the other side. Okay, so let's look in this cylinder, see what we see. Okay, so that piston there is coming up. That's the one that's coming up to the top when it hangs up. So there's the valves. Let's run that piston down and see what we see on top of it. If I can get on top of it. I can't tell what that is, but it looks like a big chunk of something sitting in there on top of it. Looks like that piston has some stuff on it. And what I think's happening is that's hitting the top of the head. So how do I get a look at this side over here? don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm looking at the cylinder wall. There's the piston going down. Okay, so we're looking at the piston there. But I'm seeing that shiny spot right there. Makes me think that that's hitting the top of the head, or hitting the head when it comes up. See if I can get a little different angle here on it. So if we, that's actually the way it should sit. My camera was upside down, but I think that little white area right there is hitting the top of the head. And maybe run that cylinder back up here. Or run the piston back up to the top. It just fired on one cylinder. My camera just can't quite fit. Well, there it is. Not sure what I'm looking at there. Yeah, I think the piston just hit the top again. Wait a minute, do I have my camera backwards? I think I do now. So that, coming up from the bottom there, that's the, okay, so I think that's the problem. So I don't know how big a job it is to pull this head off, but what I'm wondering is if I can take a scraper or something I can reach down in there and scrape on that piston and then take a shop vac, suck the dirt out of it, and we'll see if we can get what we get out of there. That's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to try to do. Anyway, I'll get some tools here that I can reach around in that corner. Okay, so I poked around in there a little bit. Let's see what happens if we blow some air in it. Oh yeah. That was right in my face. It was not smart, was it? Okay, let's see if it cranks over now. Ouch. That was it. She turns free again. So, I don't know if you could see that, but she made 2 complete revolutions without binding. So, I think what happened there was it just a matter of carbon got stacked up on top of that piston at the lowest point, and it was hitting the head. I don't think it did any damage to it because the starting system on here is pretty crude. Of course, this is the original starter that you put in there, and but now it has an electric starter. Now this setup here, not very user friendly at all, because, well, it's missing the battery cable end and it don't have a solenoid. Basically, I guess you just hook the battery up and let the starter spin, and then you use this lever to tighten the belt, get her to crank over. So, I think what I'm gonna do is try to get these cylinders on top dead center and blow those out too. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got the spark plugs back in. Turn the gas on here. Like there's a little dirt in there. And I think this is our choke. So we'll pull the choke, and then this is our starter. Set you back here where you can watch this operation work. So what you do is you touch this to this. So I don't think we've got any fuel. That could be a problem. Ain't got no gas in it. Kind of hard to set you guys up where you can see what's happening here, but you get a close-up of this. Okay, gas is coming back out. So it needs gas, apparently. That's weird because I saw gas coming through the filter a while ago. Unless the gas tank's just full of crap. Okay, so if we're getting gas, maybe we'll try it without pulling the carburetor. Roxy's not doing a very good job of holding my light for me here. Okay, so now let's turn the gas back on. I do see gas flowing through the filter now, slowly. Carburetor has a plug on it. Well, before she floods out, let's see if it'll start. Contact. How about that stuff? We got a runner maybe. Oh. Well, till the pulley comes off. It about got me. So she don't have a key, and they had that bolt. Well, this ain't in the best of shape here. That's a shame. Almost had it running. Okay, so this is probably not going to be the most accurate. Oh, wow. It is aluminum, so it's pretty easy to drill on. Alright, so we'll see what we can do here. Tap is going in easy. This will actually be stronger threads than the aluminum, so it might actually work. So if you don't know what a helicoil is, it's actually a thread repair, and you can buy them for about any size bolt. What it does, it comes with this neat little steel insert, and I'm supposed to have a tool to start this in there. And so another thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of blue Loctite on this insert. The tool is actually got a little tang that'll drive. It drives that in there. So if I can get some Loctite, that thing's plugged up. A little Loctite will help us out. Now once you get that in there and get it set, you break that little tang off. Sometimes so what we did is we just oversized that hole. I don't want to run it in there too far. Okay, she went on there. Wrong wrench, dude. There we go. We're going to have a new and improved starter system here. One that might stay on, hopefully. Get my bolt down in that hole. The hole down in there is not exactly drilled smooth. I think that's about as tight as I've ever seen that one. Okay. Yeah. I don't know where you guys are going to sit. How about over here? Maybe you can see the action a little better. This is OSHA approved, right? Not really. All right. Contact. Now the starter bolt, it pulled the helicoil threads all the way out. I don't know where the bolt went. Where did it go? Isn't that something? So, the bolt is gone. It pulled the helicoil threads out with it. Obviously, we're going to come up with a better system to start it. I can't believe it runs. The dang thing runs. Starter for now is there's another hole here that had a set screw in it, and I'm going to put a bolt in it. We're going to run it down. We're going to hope that works, because there's just not enough meat on that thing to hold the threads. Well, this is a 5/16 bolt. The other one was a 3/8. This one might sit down in that hole a little better anyway. So, like I say, this is probably not the best starting system I got for this, but it's what they got. But what I want to do is put a welding lead on it. Let me tighten that just a smidge more. Contact. Yeah, we stayed tighter that time. We didn't lose the starter that time. Okay, so what we do, we got a little piece of reflective tape. If I can get it to peel off here. We'll put that on this wheel here. And we'll give her another start. I'm gonna set you back here to watch the starting process. It's quite amusing. First, you gotta find your belt. Install your belt. Turn on the gas. Take your negative wire, touch it to the post. Uh-oh, what happened? Something happened that was not good. Glad I had a choke on it, I could kill it. It's all hot in there now. Okay, so try not to burn your hands off. Found the choke, or found the throttle. So we had way too many RPMs there. And a barn full of smoke. There's my flashlight. Okay, what kind of keeper? Just needs a small Carter key in there. Yep, that's what it needed. Okay. Let's try that again. Find your belt. Put your belt on. Turn on the gas. Ready? Contact. Okay, there's Roxy. She's been rolling in the dirt. So, the little 200, SA200, I'm not sure what year model this is. It's an old one. Wisconsin VF4 gas engine. Runs, I'll tell you what happened with the oil coming through the oil bath filter, I believe, is when the engine tried to overspeed, it sucked too much air through. And all it was missing, there's a little keeper on the throttle rod. I've got a new one in it. So that keeper came out, it just let it go wide open throttle. I had a hold of the choke when it happened, so I was able to kind of keep it pulled back. But isn't that a cool little 4 with wings there? So this has a direct drive magneto. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So this magneto spins the same speed as the engine, which means it fires every time the piston hits top center, whether it's on exhaust or compression. So it's a double firing, just fires every time. But you can see how easy this thing starts up. You could crank start this engine if it wasn't for this thing here. But that might break your hand. So the starter system we have on here, it works, but it's got the original crank handle. This is not my welder. This is like I said, this is a farmer's machine, and I'll be calling him up tonight and tell him come get it. It needs an oil change and that kind of stuff. I figure he can handle that, but the RPMs on it are good. It runs just a little over 2,000 RPM on the high notch, which when you're welding, that's probably about right. So what it is, there's 2 notches in this shaft and they lock into the hood here. So that's the lower speed and that's the higher speed. This is supposed to turn it on and off. It's disconnected. It needs a ground wire going to the mag. But it's easy enough to turn the gas off. And it's actually better on these older machines, I think, to run them out of gas. Your carburetor won't get near as gunked up. But anyway, serial number is A2822700. So if you want to look that up, let me know what year it is. But this is a genuine SA200 Lincoln. So one of the oldest ones I've ever seen. Well, I say that, I've probably seen them in a museum, but I've never actually handled one. So engine seems good. Like I say, the only problem, I think what happened is when we first started it, that one day it had a big chunk of carbon that got down in the cylinder, and luckily I don't believe it did any damage to the engine, so I didn't have to pull anything apart. I just basically showed you, took a piece of wire and kind of scratched around in there and then took the air hose and blew everything out. And yeah, technology like this doesn't exist today. The new welders you buy today will not run in, shoot, this thing's probably 70 years old. Your circuit board won't be working in 70 years. This one needs nothing like that. This is the stuff we need to be building in America. This is what made the country great. And I honestly think that somebody should go back to this technology. I know everybody's used to the little digital dials and the readouts on their screens and all that stuff, but do you need it? Not really. Anyway. Well, that's it for me and Roxy today. That's your Sunday service. Thanks for watching.